guys, welcome back to Seeking God in the Wait. I'm Johanna and this is my husband Travis, and we just are on the second part of our story, or rather Travis's perspective on the beginning of how we met and how we even got to meeting each other. So
yeah, last week you want to kind of wrap up what you talked about last week as we're putting and tying this together?
Yes. So I just, I never wanted to meet my husband online. I just didn't think that was a fun story. I didn't think that was very organic. But, if you're not meeting people in your immediate circle, in your church, in your school, in your group of friends, in the places that you are and go, meeting online is just a way to expand that circle of people that you're going to interact with or bump into. And at some point I said, well, I'm not meeting anyone here, and let me be open. And I was, and I was pleasantly surprised. So.
Because you found me.
Right.
Yeah, so a little bit about my story. So we're a little bit of the older generation, I guess you can say. I'm not saying we're old, we're super young, but I mean,
we're not baby boomers.
We weren't born into online dating as a normal and natural thing. No. So for us, we had a lot of questions about it. Like
the internet started existing during our lifetime.
Stop dating yourself.
It's true. Yes. It's so true.
So we had to kind of look into this a little bit more and see. So for me, I was all about social media and stuff like that. So when it came to actually looking for someone online, I was really hesitant, because for me, I wanted God to show up and do some crazy, amazing thing where He just randomly shows up at my church and there she is.
Hair blowing in the wind.
or being in the middle of New Zealand and out of nowhere, God shows up. And I thought that's what it was going to be. I thought God was going to show up and do some pretty big things. But there was part of me that was also like, but God, you need a little bit of help. Let me help you out a little bit.
Did you really think that?
Nah, well, I questioned whether I was doing that or not when I went on online dating.
You felt like you were helping
I felt
God
like
out.
I was trying to help God a little bit. So part of me, I battled with that, well, I want God to show up big, but like your mom said, kind of that whole thing too, where, well, God can use that too. It's not that God's going to do it a certain way, and that's the only way that God works. So for me, that's where I was like, okay, I'm not finding anybody in my church, not finding anybody at school, not finding anybody anywhere that I look at and I'm like, I want to marry this person in my circle. So, just kind of, the seed, just kind of throwing it out there and seeing what's out there. So getting into a few websites, and just kind of seeing if there's anybody out there that drew my interest. And,
what was that like for you?
Well,
that whole experience.
To be honest, I didn't put a whole lot of stock into it. It was one of those okay, well, something could come of it. But for me, a little bit earlier on, I found this girl I was super interested in. Talked to her. She seemed awesome. Believer. Come to find out, the more I tried to get to know her, the more she would pull back. And the more she would kind of push me away. So everything that I knew about her, the more we talked, it just seemed awesome. But then I come to find out that she was just a catfish.
That's horrible.
So a little bit earlier in my online dating, I became super skeptical because of the situation that I had experienced.
That's why you didn't think I was real.
I did not think you were real.
You thought I was a catfish.
I thought you were way too good to be true. But you are way too good. And you were true. So, so I had struggles, I had, looking into this, okay, am I going to run into this again? Every person I run into, what's it going to be like?
And that's a very common thing. Catfish just are out there. And I think that's a scary part of online dating, that you don't see the person, you don't, so I think maybe you can talk a little bit about what.
Well, yeah, with that though, the thing I struggled with the most with that whole situation is that she was a believer and professing believer and talked like a believer. But then there was that whole other side of it, that there was a whole fake side of it. So for me, it's okay, well, am I investing into something? So every relationship, or not even relationship, but person that I was swiping right to, or whatever you call it, like I wanted to find out immediately from the start if that person was legit or not. So that's why you went through this little rigorous
After
thing.
1 week of writing, he's like, so can we talk on the phone? Like, I just want to see your face. And I was like, wow, he's really quick.
Just got to make sure you're real. I'm not going to invest my time into something that isn't.
And that's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah. So, before meeting Johanna, this whole thing of finding people, like different websites, not putting a whole lot of attention into it, but at the same time, like kind of getting my feelers out there, seeing who's out there. And again, there's people that I, talked to, which were awesome people, but it just didn't end up fitting. So when I went to the mission field, I came to a place where I'm like, I think I just need to take a break from this and just step back and not put, anything into it and just let God work. But more towards the end of I was out there for 4 years, and after 4 years, you're just kind of like, okay, well, let me at least walk and see if there's anything else out there. That's when I, decided to kind of go back and get back online and see if there's anybody out there.
And it was friends of yours, right, that introduced you to the website? Yeah.
So the website for actually when I met you, I had a friend that he met his wife. There we go. All these pronouns today get mixed up. He met her on this website. I don't know how he found out about the website, but he met her on this website, and they ended up getting married. But before that, when they got engaged, I ended up doing their photos, and they're like, "Why don't you get on this website?" And so I was like, well, give it a go. Like I've tried every other website. Ended up getting on the website. And I had an understanding of what I thought missionaries were like. So I kind of had this is the way it is. Like, is this really for me?
He was a little judgy.
I was a lot judgy.
Very judgy.
A lot judgy. And so when I, went on there, I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Why not? So the first time I went on there, didn't find anybody got off. I'm like, okay, $1, not a big deal. Didn't waste anything. And then the second time I actually talked to that same buddy that got married, and he's like, why don't you give it a go one more time, try it again. And I did. I was like, okay, well, I'll try it. Nothing to lose.
Except $1.
I think it might have been a little bit more at that time, but so I thought I'd give it a go, right? And the first time I filled out the information, I wrote everything, like every box, like 700 boxes of information. Here's my heart. Here's my information. Here's who I am. Take me as I am. Either you love me or you don't. Get out of here, or come see and say hello. So that was the first time. So the second time, I'm like, I am not doing this again. I spent so much time doing this. I'm gonna do the bare minimums and just put very little.
This is what I saw. I was like, this guy hasn't put no effort into anything.
I didn't even put my name on there.
No, Mr. I am forgiven. That was his. I am forgiven.
Yeah.
I was like, what is he forgiven of? Like. Yeah. Is he a serial killer that just got out of jail and now he's forgiven? And
yes. So thank you for taking a chance. So ended up filling it out. And again, not sure what I was even looking for. I had these underlying expectations of what I thought missionaries were like. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to go down that route. So when I met her, when I ran into her profile online, I was like, okay, she's cute. Is she the missionary type? I had to question and find out. So I just threw something out there. I was like, I don't even know if I want to invest into this a whole lot. Hey, I was in Malawi. I heard you're just coming back from Malawi.
What did you do there?
Little did I know that would win her heart over.
You spoke my heart language.
Yes. And that's what I did. I threw it out there and actually ended up going to India. I think I threw it out there, went to India, and didn't get back to you for 2 weeks because I was gone for 2 weeks. And came back, and you had somehow figured out how to write me, and we started talking. And that, again, once I started talking to her, I was like, okay, I have to see if she's a catfish. If this girl is a catfish, I'm out of here. I'm not going to waste my time. The other girl actually spent way too much time, probably months, chasing after this girl, trying to pursue her, and ended up being nothing.
That's usually what happens, because they're so intriguing but mysterious, but so good. Seems so good and so right. So
Yeah. Wait, that wasn't you, was it?
No.
Okay, good. So, yeah, when we started talking, I didn't want to waste my time. And again, I didn't want to waste her time. So we got to talking, and then everything just kind of clicked, right? Like we
videoed. We video talked.
Well, we had talked before that, before we videoed.
We were writing.
Right.
Yeah, we had written for a good week, like every day. Mm-hmm. And things started to click, right?
Yeah, things started to click, and it was one of those like, hey, like, first of all, let's see if she's real.
Yeah.
If she's real, then we can continue this.
Yeah.
And if she's not, and the key thing behind that is, if you guys are doing online dating, by the way, is see if they'll video call you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're not going to video call you and they're not going to show their face, then there's something wrong. A little sketchy. Yeah. Or even a voice call to start off with. Something that says, hey, I'm real and I'm not a picture that I stole from somebody else's profile.
But even a voice call, do the video call.
Yeah.
Does their picture match up to their face on a video?
Yeah. So just a little golden nugget for you if you're online dating. But we are going to talk about like what that looked like next episode, on like some of the questions that we had and how we can kind of move forward with all that. But for me in this episode, it was just more of like my experience being really hesitant to kind of jump into like an online dating relationship and using all these tools, these websites that are out there. And I think we kind of had the same experience with that hesitation. Yeah. But for us, it ended up working out. So it can.
Yeah.
And yeah, but the main thing is, what does that look like? And again, stay tuned for next episode, because we're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff, a bunch of questions that we went through just to kind of see if it was real. And it ended up being a blessing.
Yeah.
So thank you guys.
Yeah. It's so good having you guys with us.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right.